This is KOA Q&A, and this morning we are talking about those do-it-yourself braces, and we're doing that with Dr. Seth Newman, who's a New York City area orthodontist. Dr. Newman, thanks for being with us this morning.
My pleasure.
Well, there are over 4 million Americans who wear braces, 25% being adults, a percentage that seems to be increasing. And as you might expect, many are looking to save money on, what can be an expensive treatment process. We all remember braces when we were kids, but suddenly there's do-it-yourself orthodontics. They seem to be exploding in popularity. Less money, more convenience seem to be the appealing factors. Now, as an orthodontist, Dr. Newman, you're right on the front lines here. And are these do-it-yourself orthodontics really worthwhile?
Right. Well, there's a whole push behind them. There's a whole, obviously there's tremendous marketing dollars behind it. And the appealing part of it is the cost. It's significantly cheaper than seeing a doctor. And so that's their marketing. And that's why they suggest you should do it that way. The problem with do-it-yourself orthodontics, though, is there is no oversight. The premise is really this. You go in, you get these aligners made, which are similar to Invisalign, and you get a box mailed to you, and you're on your own, and that's it. And so, you can talk to myself or any other orthodontist, but we've never successfully been able to treat people and get good results without seeing them.
Sure.
I mean, if that was the case, we'd all be doing it. We'd see people for one visit or two visits, and we'd say, here you go, you're on your way, and we'd be able to do it for a lot less cost. But the truth is, teeth are not, they're not chiclets, and they're part of your body. And so moving teeth is a science. There's an art and a science behind it. And unless you know what you're doing, unless you're watching it carefully, it doesn't go well.
Right. I remember being a part of that art and science growing up. And, you go in every couple of months and they tighten them up and they fix them and they check them. And, of course, you're chewing something and you break one inevitably. So these braces, then, these do-it-yourself things, to me, it just doesn't seem right with all that I went through. So they really just don't work as braces are intended to work.
No, they don't. And they're not braces per se. They're aligners. Right. And aligners are removable, clear aligner therapy. And so Invisalign is the most prevalent one that probably most of your audience has heard of.
Right.
And so it's not that you're getting braces on your teeth and moving them that way. They're doing it with these removable aligners. But it doesn't matter how you're moving them, whether you're moving teeth with braces or you're moving with teeth with aligners, you're still moving teeth. And, without someone watching how things are moving, one, it's not going to go well, and two, the potential for things to go wrong is real and great.
Yeah, what are some of the worst issues that you've seen as a result of these do-it-yourself orthodontics?
I mean, they don't take, so before we start any patient, and not just myself, any orthodontist, we take a set of records, we take photos, we take x-rays, and we're evaluating, the health of your teeth before you do that. So they don't take any x-rays, so they don't know what's going on underneath those teeth. And so sometimes people have root issues, sometimes, the roots need to be moved into the right spot. But without looking at that, you're doing it blind. And so, that's a real limitation to this, is that you hope that everything underneath is okay, but you really don't know.
Right. Are there any oral issues where these DIY orthodontics might actually be recommended?
I mean, if someone has a minor space or minor things, is there potential that someone can do it and get a good result? Absolutely. That's what the intention, I think started out as. But now it's morphed into, we can treat anyone with any problem for this. And so, minor things, I'm sure it could work well on. But, without a doctor looking at your teeth, one, you just don't know if it's going to move well, and two, how are you going to keep it there?
Right.
Because orthodontics it's the long game. It's moving the teeth is important, but then holding them there and making sure that they don't shift after is even more important.
Now, what happens if you do end up having problems with these DIY braces? How often does that happen? And then do you kind of end up spending more money than you would have to begin with traditional braces?
Yeah, so I mean, we've seen them, and we've seen a lot of them. These TYI orthodontic centers, there's a lot of them here in New York. So we've seen plenty of these patients, and so they end up obviously having to redo it then with us. And so, and look, we're seeing a biased sample. We're seeing all the people who have issues come to us and say, "Now fix it." But we've seen some pretty serious stuff that we were sort of alarmed that they would do it with these systems.
Right. And really, braces are more about straightening or aligning teeth. The jaw can come into play here. So many more things, right?
Right. I mean, yeah, teeth are just one aspect. So, yes, we're aligning teeth, but, we're also aligning jaws and fixing bites. And so if you don't look at everything, if you just look at the teeth and if you don't look at how the teeth relate to the jaw, and then if you don't relate how the jaw relates to the bite, you're missing a tremendous, part of the puzzle. And so it's about straightening them, and then it's about doing it in a way that they're going to stay straight for the rest of your life.
Right. And with a regular orthodontist, you make these regular visits. You really can't make adjustments, or you don't even know that you need adjustments with these DIY, orthodontics. You really have to be in somebody's office, get somebody to look in your mouth, don't you?
Right. I mean, patients ask us all the time, what are you going to do next visit? And until we see how the teeth moved and how they responded and what's worked well and what maybe needs some tweaking, we don't know what we're going to do next time. So, that's the art and science behind it. Everything is dynamic and changing, and, you're putting pressures on teeth and hoping that they move a certain way. And sometimes they move how you predict, but a lot of times they don't. So it's not even uncommon for our aligner patients who start with Invisalign, to end up finishing with braces, because sometimes, you just need a little bit of something more controlled to do the movements. So, when you see an orthodontist, we have, a lot of the options in our back pocket to get your teeth straight. And then we obviously to hold them straight when you're done. Right.
Exactly. With the do-it-yourself orthodontics, do the teeth stay once you sort of get them realigned, or do they kind of just ease back to where they were?
Yeah, I mean, you really don't know. You don't know. The failure rate on it is really tremendous, And so, look, if you look online, you're going to see all these good Google reviews because, obviously they have ways of getting these good reviews. But, I've been told that, up to 2/3 of people don't finish successfully because, imagine you go in, you spend your money on these aligners, you get a box at home, and then you're trying to figure it out on your own. And so what to do and what to look for when it's fitting and when it's not fitting, and if something's a little off or something's hurting you, you're totally on your own. And so the old adage you get what you pay for is really prevalent here.
Okay, so now you enter good old social media. They've got how-to videos on there. What do you think of those how-to videos?
Those have developed really out of necessity because there is no one for these people to turn to. So there's no doctor watching their case. So they formed, and I've looked at these groups. There are Facebook groups, and people are sort of helping each other. What do you do if you have this, or what should I do if I see this? And so, it's you're turning to the public to sort of be your doctor, and you could imagine. The risks of that. How do you know the person you listen to on Facebook knows what they're talking about?
Exactly. Yeah. Do-it-yourself orthodontics. From the summary here that I get from our interview here, it's kind of the old phrase, don't try this at home. That sort of applies here, doesn't it?
Don't try this at home, yeah. And speaking of home, I just wanted to let you know some of the best orthodontic products in the world are made right in your backyard. Rocky Mountain Orthodontics is one of the leaders in the U.S., and they're made in Denver. So you guys should be proud of that.
Where can people find out more information about, orthodontics and this type of thing that you're talking about?
If you can go to Ask the Orthos, ASK, THE, or ORTHOS, you can get a lot more information on it.
Okay. Now, we have about 45 seconds left. Is there anything that you see down the future, that you're all excited about that could be coming your way in orthodontics?
Yeah, I mean, the technology in orthodontics is exciting for sure. And so we got ways to move teeth faster than ever before. We have ways to make it more comfortable. And then everything is getting more and more digital. And so, rather than taking impressions now we scan people's teeth. And we can show you virtually what your teeth are going to look like before and after. And so there really are some exciting things coming down the pipe. And so it's a great time to be an orthodontist because it's an exciting field, and it's a great time to be a patient because we could do it easier and quicker than ever before.
Oh, sounds good to me. Dr. Seth Newman, a New York City area orthodontist, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
All right, thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
This is KOA Q&A. I'm Ed Green.